Thrifting is the best because you never know what you're going to find, and there are some real treasures. I personally like thrifting for clothing, home decor, and craft supplies. There are some other things that I thrift too, books on occasion. I started thrifting as a kid. Every summer, my family would take a road trip up from California to Idaho, and we would stop by 2 or 3 thrift stores on the way every single time. And at first, as a kid, I mostly thrifted like toys, like stuffed animals and stuff like that. And then slowly I transitioned into buying mostly clothes, and now as an adult I buy like home decor. But that's where my love of thrifting came from, was specifically those trips. And then every like school year, my mom would take us to the thrift store to get new clothes to wear that year also. That was just so much fun because there was stuff that was super unique in the thrift stores that you wouldn't like find at like Costco or Kohl's. Thrifting is like treasure hunting. You never know what you're going to find, and there are treasures tucked in those little corners, but you have to work for it. You can't just show up and find exactly what you want. You kind of have to dig for it, especially when it comes to like, well, all of it, like clothes, books, like everything. You have to kind of like really dig. The best part about thrifting is that there is something for everyone. One man's trash is another man's treasure. I specifically like thrifting because you do find things that are so unique. Like you can find a sweater that nobody else has, or you can find a piece of home decor that no one else has. Like it's not just a piece of home decor that you got at Target. It's really unique. I think that the pieces you find at the thrift store can also have memories attached to them too. Because of my personal experience of thrifting while traveling, I remember like thrifting a typewriter on one of those vacations and thinking about it the whole time we were in Idaho, and then like I couldn't wait to take it out when we got back in California. So stuff like that. I think that's really special too, is that you can have memories attached to your thrifting trips also. Whether you are a new thrifter or maybe a seasoned thrifter, it can get a little overwhelming. Like you can't just go into the store and find exactly what you were looking for. You do have to kind of dig through stuff. And yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming just because there is so much of everything. So because of this, I have a few steps that I take so that I can always have some sort of success on my thrifting trips. Number 1, I have a list of things that I want to thrift. And it can vary from home decor, books, clothing, craft supplies, all the things. It really depends on what you want to get out of the thrift store. So something I have on there often is like picture frames in a specific size or color. I will say specific clothing items that I'm looking for, whether it's like jeans or maybe a tiered skirt. And it's something that changes all the time because either I find it or I think of something new to add on there, but it's an ever evolving list. But it gives me a really clear idea of what I need to look for first, what I need to prioritize looking for. Second, I have a kind of small Pinterest board, and this one is mostly for clothing items, sometimes home decor, but mostly just clothing, kind of like patterns that I like or silhouettes that I like, fabrics that I can go and look for in those sections. My last step is also a Pinterest board, but it's kind of a visual representation of colors that I think are flattering on me. This goes for clothing specifically, but if you're thrifting and like looking through the aisles and you see something that you're like, oh, I like this top, but I'm not sure if I should get it, just because you can't really return it all the time. So then I will compare it to my color sheet and see if it kind of falls under those. If it doesn't, I usually put it back. If it does, great. It's kind of like a green flag. That's kind of my guide and my steps when it comes to thrifting and what I look for. And then let me kind of show you how I applied that on my last thrifting trip. Something that I had on my thrifting list were baskets, specifically for organization. And I looked at quite a few at the thrift store, but none of them were really exactly what I wanted. They just all felt kind of cheap. So I didn't end up getting any, but it was great to know that I needed to look for them. Something I did have on my thrift list was linen shirts, like specifically button-up shirts in any colors. I found this one, but after trying it on, it wasn't really great. I actually found a few different linen tops, and the colors were cool, but then like trying them on, they just were not right for me. But it was cool seeing so many different linen tops. Something I always look for at the thrift store are sweaters that I can unravel and then use as yarn, specifically good materials like 100% wool or 100% cotton. This last one, I just really liked the color, but I didn't get it. Let's do a really quick thrift haul of everything that I got from that trip. So like I said, I really like to get sweaters that are a good material, and then I will unwind them and re-knit them into new sweaters. So this is a great example. This is a 100% wool sweater, which is amazing because wool is like the best fiber content to use. The yarn itself is also really pretty because it's got like little speckles of purple and pink and yellow, really cute. But the actual knit of the sweater is super weird. Like it gets really narrow at the base, but then the shoulders are kind of like poofy. It's kind of like 80s vibes, but like not flattering. So this is like the perfect example of something that I would thrift for the yarn to then unwind and knit into a sweater that is actually flattering to wear. So I'm really excited to unwind this one. I also got this sweater for the same exact reason. I've been loving knitting with cotton for the summer months. This I could totally just wear the way it is. I don't love like the weird asymmetrical design on the front. But I'm going to unwind this cotton sweater and use the yarn to make a t-shirt for summer. A tip that I have for thrifting is to always look for good materials. 100% cotton, 100% wool. Rayon is pretty good. Linen is even better. If anything, just do your best to try and thrift good materials. They last longer. They're also better for your body and the environment. So if you take anything from this video, take that. Look for good materials. Something that I always look for at the thrift store are good fabrics. So I found this little pillowcase in the linens section. It has a floral and it has a very faint stripe. You probably can't even see it, but this is just always good for like lining things, or I don't know, part of my like little quilting projects. I thought it was really cute. This is a shirt and it's really pretty because of the fabric design. It's kind of like a seersucker gingham. It's really, really cool, but I don't really wear blue that much, so I didn't get it to wear. I got it more for like my different projects. Especially as a shirt, I don't like wearing blue for shirts. I wouldn't mind maybe making like a pair of shorts out of this. It's actually kind of large. But if anything, I will just use the material for my like quilting projects and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about this. Last, I got this top because of the color. So the actual way it is sewn is kind of weird, and I don't think it would be too flattering on me. But I have been looking all over for kind of like a greeny yellow material that I can add to my wardrobe. It's all over my color Pinterest board, and this just fit in so well. So I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with it yet, but the material is nice. The color is really nice. So I'm excited to do something with this, but I'm not exactly sure what. I also picked up this little table. It's got the fold out things on each side, and I'm going to be using this kind of as a coffee table, but also just like a living room table that we can play board games on and eat in front of the TV. It was on my list. I needed a table like that, and so I'm glad to have checked that off. That is everything that I got on my thrifting trip, and those are all of my tips. So just to review, number 1, make a list. That is so helpful in pointing you in the right direction for like what you need for your house or your wardrobe or your library or whatever. It's just a really great way to focus you in when you first get into the store so you don't get too overwhelmed. You know exactly where you need to go. Number 2, it's good to have a Pinterest board with like visual representation of like some inspo to look for, along with a color spreadsheet so that you know like what colors look flattering on you or what colors are maybe missing in your wardrobe and you need to look for. Look for good materials. That is so important. So like I said, 100% wool, 100% cotton, 100% linen. Those are my top 3 probably. Oh, cashmere is also a really great one to look for at the thrift store. Avoid things like polyester and acrylic. Those are not as good for you or the environment. And that's everything I have. If you have any questions, let me know. I love thrifting. It's my favorite. And I've been seeing on TikTok lately this audio that says, thrifting isn't shopping, it's saving the environment, which I think is really nice. So hope that helped. Again, let me know if you have questions. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I do all things thrifting, crafting, home stuff. So yeah, see you guys in the next one.